Hello and welcome to the live stream. We're live on both YouTube and Facebook right now. Thank you for joining, or if you're watching the replay, thank you as well. JS says 5 p.m. Mexico time. Yes, we're starting at 5 p.m. Mexican Standard Time. That's why I'm always late to the live stream. Thanks for joining. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the chat box below, and I'll be answering as many questions as I can today. Kevin, good to see you here. Vámonos. We have Dallas in the house. Where are you? I am in Querétaro. I'm at home. I was on a trip. I was in Vegas, and then I got home late last night, like really late, 2 or 3 a.m. Y la novia, my girlfriend is in Monterrey at the moment. Edward, good to see you here, and thank you for being a channel member. Gavin asks, are there Asian people living in Mexico? Well, there's a lot where I live, especially Japanese and Koreans, because there's a lot of Japanese and Korean companies with big businesses here, like Kia, for example, Daewoo, Samsung, Toyota. They all have huge operations here in Querétaro, so there's a whole lot of Japanese and Koreans living here. Adolfo, how's the weather during this time in Puerto Vallarta? Probably pretty darn hot. I'm not sure if the rainy season has started yet there, though. And when the rainy season does start, well, then that's going to help cool it off. Hi, Lisa and Raymond. Thanks for joining. Have you been to Chiapas? Yes, but really only to San Cristobal de las Casas. Cool place, but it's been 4 years. The last time, or almost 4 years, I was there in December 2018. Have you been to a boxing gym? No, not one that's like specifically boxing. Like at the gym I go to, they have boxing, but I haven't been to a boxing gym. What about Vietnamese people? As for what is my feeling here? Vietnamese, I'm not sure. There's probably some, but I don't think there's a huge population of them. Does the car you drive keep you from getting pulled over by cops for no reason? If this is asking, I don't personally have a car at the moment, but if you're asking in general, does a car you drive help you from getting pulled over? Yes, it certainly can. Like, for example, if your car doesn't have a front license plate, well, then you're going to get pulled over like crazy, because missing a front plate is a sign that you have an unpaid ticket or some kind of violation here in Mexico. And like, if your car is really nice, well, then that's something else that's going to get you pulled over more often. Jose asked, "What's the best dish your girlfriend cooks for you?" I've only had her cooking a couple of times, but I think my favorite so far was salmon. It was so good, so tender and juicy. Ooh. Margaret, thanks for being a channel member. Hey kiddo, you are my window to Mexico, so thank you. I've not seen my house in 3 years. Wow, so you have a house in Mexico and it's been that long since you've been down here? Long time. Rudy asks, have you been to Huasteca Potosina? Not yet, but I'd love to go. Julio says, I ordered a replica license plate from my back from my back. I am from Florida. We only use one plate, and it worked like a charm a year ago when I was in Monterey. Yeah, so when we were driving around the country, in a car that only had a back plate, because that's all Arizona gives you, unless you have a specialty plate in Arizona. Well, after a couple of years, we ordered a replica plate on eBay and threw that on the front, and like that got rid of getting pulled over almost every single time. Like it went from happening almost every single trip anywhere to almost never. Alfonso asked, my mother was born in Reynosa. Have you been there yet? I have not. Not yet. Manuel asks, have you visited any archaeological sites in Mexico yet? Yeah, a whole bunch of them. Before coming to Mexico, I didn't realize how many archaeological sites there are, but there's there's so many. It's crazy, like everywhere. Maybe not like in the north part of the country near the U.S., but I mean, once you get like halfway down into the country, they're all over the place. Like even here in the city of Querétaro, we have an archaeological site. When you begin a family, do you prefer to raise the children in Mexico? Yeah, I think so. Andy asks, have you been to Monterrey or do you plan to? I've only driven past Monterrey. I haven't been there. But yeah, I'll go sometime. I don't have any trips booked at the moment. Alex says, love your Vegas content. Hoping one day you decide to include world travel to your channel. Yeah, so there hasn't been a whole lot on Tangerine Travels outside of Mexico and Vegas. I There's a couple videos or a few videos from Peru, and there's a couple of videos from Spain, but that's all. But as for Vegas content, that you're gonna see a few videos coming out shortly. planning any road trips in the near future? First, I need to buy a car, but after that. Yvonne asks, where in Mexico are you? Right in the center of the country. So, like, it's almost the geographical center in a place called Querétaro. So I was with the big tease the other day about moving. I assume you're talking about the post that I made that I'm officially moving out of my house. And yeah, so uh, when that's about to happen, I'm going to do a tour of this place so you guys can finally see where I've been living. Edward asks, have you visited any archaeological sites in Querétaro? Not yet. It's a shame that I've been here a year and haven't done that. But yeah, I need to do that. Robert asks, would you consider yourself an introvert? And so, like, there was a point in the past where I didn't know the answer to this because I felt like I had some introvert tendencies and other extrovert tendencies. But one day I was talking to someone who was a professional psychologist or something like that. And she asked me this. And I said, I don't know. Maybe an introvert with some extrovert tendencies or something. I forget exactly what I said. But she's like, well, I can tell you, just answer uh, these questions. And I believe like the main question was, do you feel like you recharge your energy when you're alone, or do you feel like you recharge your energy when you're with other people? And I recharge my energy when I'm alone, which makes me an introvert. Manuel asked, do you have a favorite cenote? Hmm. What would be my favorite cenote? Okay, so about an hour's drive from Tulum, or maybe it's 45 minutes, depending on how fast your cab driver drives. There's ruins. Oh my gosh, I'm forgetting the name of the ruins. The ruins are Coba. That's Coba with an accent over the A. And very close to those ruins, there's three cenotes where you can pay like one entry fee and get access to all three of them. And those are so cool. I love those. Those are probably my favorite cenotes that I've been to. Well, so the state with the best looking women in Mexico. I have a kind of funny answer to this. And that state would be Sinaloa, but specifically Culiacan, the city of Culiacan. And this the story goes that like that area is really big with drug cartels. And the story goes that the dream of so many of the women who grow up there is to become the girlfriend of a rich cartel member and get like all sorts of designer clothes and bags and everything, and get lots of plastic surgery. So it's known as the place of plastic surgery, which which I don't find particularly attractive a lot of times. Like there's so many women who are beautiful before the surgery, and then they ruin it with all the surgeries, and then they look like a clown afterwards. That's my take on it a lot of times. How much is gasoline in dollars per gallon? Well, based on the recent things I've seen, it's about 20 pesos a liter for regular, and I believe that puts it at about $4 a gallon, depending on the exchange rate. Maybe a little bit higher than $4 a gallon, and it's been basically the same the entire 4.5 years I've been in Mexico, about $4 a gallon. Has meeting Mai put an end to relocating to PV? I never had any type of plan to relocate to Puerto Vallarta. Eh, What's the US dollar worth? I don't know the current exchange rate, but it's usually about 20 to 1. 1 USD to MXN. I'm checking. $1 is worth 20.33 pesos right now. So it must have improved in the last week or two, the exchange rate. At least improved in the sense that if you have dollars, you're going to get more pesos. Do you know a place where foreigners meet each other in Querétaro? I just came here for a few months. Um, not any particular place. However, like in expat Facebook groups, I've seen meetups organized. So like there'll be a time and date for a meetup, and then people will go there. But also, if you go to basically any bar or restaurant in Zona Centro, you're probably going to run into foreigners. If you go to bars and restaurants in any other place in the city, well, then chances are that restaurant or bar is going to be full of Mexicans. Any good places to swim in Querétaro? Uh, if you want to swim, you probably want to join some gym that has a pool, like a lap pool. Domizi says, now I'm craving Indian food. Las tortillas India. If you haven't seen the video, by the way, the video I released on Saturday, we went to this awesome Indian restaurant. It was incredible. It, in it, I mentioned the Indian tortillas, which apparently ruffled some feathers. Where's Mai? She's in Monterrey. Jacoby, by the way, if you send stars on from Facebook, I cannot see that in my software. However, I can see any super chats that are sent from YouTube. Just so you know, after the stream is over, I try to go back to Facebook and make sure I reply to everyone who sent stars, since I can't see it during the stream. Do you work? Yep, making videos is my full-time job. What's your biggest piece of advice for someone moving to Mexico? Whew. Um, Start learning Spanish. It's probably my biggest piece of advice. And maybe don't buy a home immediately. At least, like, if you have a city that you know you want to live in, like, go there, rent, even like on an Airbnb, rent for like a few weeks in one area, a few weeks in another area, a few weeks and like a few weeks in a bunch of different areas, and you're going to get a much better feel of how much you like each area. And I think it's going to make your buying property a lot better for you in the long term. Ooh, love butter chicken. Yeah, that butter chicken's so good. Ooh. What cologne do you wear? Uh, I mean, my favorite one is probably Fierce by Abercrombie and Fitch, but I don't have any of that at the moment. And the one I have been wearing is by Kiel's. It's like the original Musk, but I I didn't really seek that out. I just got it because it was free. Does Querétaro get as hot as Puerto Vallarta? Not even close. No, Querétaro is at about a little over 6,000 feet of elevation. So it's pretty great weather year round. Have you had any negative experiences with the police in Mexico? Nothing super bad, just annoyances, like getting pulled over a ton of times and just for them to check the paperwork to make sure the car's in the country legally. Uh, and if the car wasn't in the country legally, well, then in all likelihood, they probably would have been threatening to impound the car or if I don't pay a bribe. Uh, but that never happened because the car was always legal. Um, and then, like, there's some annoying checkpoints sometimes where, like, for example, one time the the car was stopped and the entire car was searched. But nothing, like I said, nothing super bad, just annoyances. Randall asks, when's the best time of year you would recommend to come to Mexico for vacation? Honestly, Randall, totally depends on what location you're talking about. Like the best time to go to somewhere that's hot, like Cancun, probably December to February. But if you're vacationing in Mexico City, I would say that's about the worst time you could come. So it varies. Is it true you need $2,600 in monthly income to get a resident visa? More or less. Um, it depends on the consulate that you go to, but that's kind of like the base that's kind of like the benchmark number. But some consulates can be less than that for temporary residency. But also there's a lot of other ways to get residency. Like you can get residency based on your savings and investments, and that can include retirement accounts. And to get temporary residency for that, you need something like it's somewhere in the $40,000 range as your minimum savings and investment balance every month for the last 12 months. Uh, and then there's other ways like you can marry a Mexican, you can have a kid in Mexico, and then you get permanent residency automatically. You can go through the regularization program if you have been living in Mexico and you have an expired tourist visa, and then you don't need any income for that. So there's a lot of ways you can get residency. The income way is just the most common. And Jacoby, like he mentioned, there's also the humanitarian visas. So right now, if you're Ukrainian or Russian, you can get it. There's people who've fled Canada and gotten residency because of the vaccine requirements there. So, like, there's a ton of ways that you can get it. Are you in Monterrey now? I saw my story. No, I'm in Querétaro. How's Alaska? She's doing well. I was gone for 8 nights, so we were very happy to see each other when I got home last night. Can ask favorite wine from Querétaro. I don't really drink wine because some wines make me feel like I'm having trouble breathing, and I don't like the feeling of dying, so I avoid all wines. Same goes for beer. Are you ever coming back to the USA? I was just in the USA yesterday. Will your children learn Spanish or English first? Both at the same time. Like knowing kids that have been raised bilingual, like for example, there there's this woman in Querétaro who had a child, and she would speak to the child in English, and her nanny would speak to the child in Spanish, and the kid just knows, fluent in both languages, and just knows when he should use English and when he should use Spanish. So uh, he understands the difference, that it's two different languages, and that he needs to speak one to some people and one to another person, even though he's only like 5 years old. He's pretty young. Nancy asks, "Who did you trust with watching Lasco while you were in Vegas?" She's such a beautiful dog. So most of the time it was my sister, and then it was my for a couple of days. I also have a house sitter, but that I've used a couple times before, but she wasn't available this time. Is a political divide in Mexico as prevalent as in the U.S.? It's probably close. Uh, Thankfully, as a foreigner here, I'm more easily able to ignore it. Like I ignored it in the U.S. too. Like I never watched the news or anything, uh, and I tried to avoid it on social media as much as I could. Globetrotting. It's about $4 a gallon for regular, or whatever the equivalent of 20 pesos per liter is, which I think is around $4. Maggie, um, interesting. It's a sulfur used in wine production that you're reacting to. Red wine uses the most, but almost all wine uses it. Okay, that would make sense because on the rare occasion that I try wine, I usually don't have an issue with white wines. Do you smell what the rock's cooking? I have no idea what this means. Danny asks, how expensive are vehicles there? A new Volkswagen or Toyota SUV? I don't know, but I can tell you that most of the vehicles sold here are produced here in Mexico. So that helps keep the prices lower. And also, the safety standards are different. So, like compared to the US, for example, the US has way more strict safety standards. So, basically, in the US, they make it illegal to buy a small fuel efficient car because in order to meet the safety standards, they have to make the car heavier and they have to make it bigger. So they're like making all those other options illegal. Uh, Whereas in Mexico, they can make a small fuel efficient car, and those are of course they're smaller, they're lighter, there's less materials going into them, so they're of course cheaper. Hello, that's a line from WWE. Oh, that rock. I see. Speaking of rocks, I was thinking like little stones. Gas is 5.19 a gallon in Michigan. I was just in Las Vegas, and the prices I saw there were about $6 a gallon. Do I recommend any bar for tonight? Mm, I went to this place in Centro once. It's on the rooftop of a hotel. It's called Sky Garden. Uh, it it was all Mexicans there, but it was a fun, lively atmosphere. Jordan asks, "How do you keep the mosquitoes away? Do you burn incense?" Um, so like here in Querétaro, there's hardly any mosquitoes. So here, it's not really a problem. When I was living in Puerto Morelos near Cancun, well, lots and lots of bug spray. It's kind of breezy right now. Sometimes like when the sun goes down, I start having some bugs flying around me. So I brought out this just in case I need it. So I don't have to end the stream because of bugs, because I've done that a few times and I'm a little bit more prepared today. But yeah, just bug spray. I have some citronella candles if I ever need them. How far is Juriquilla from Centro? If you're talking about driving, depends where you are in Juriquilla and depends where you're going in Centro. Uh, but minimum 20 minutes, max 30 minutes. James Arena, $9 in Norway for gas. 6.29 here, Michael says. Fernando says I was in Vegas last weekend and gas was 5.27 a gallon. That that's interesting because that's a big old difference from the prices I saw. So I did a lot of Uber rides because I had to do a lot of errands while I was there, and I think the cheapest I saw was about $570, and that was if you bought a car wash. But of course, I don't know where the cheapest gas stations are or anything like that. And I was mostly in and around the strip, but I did go away from there a few times. Maggie, thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate that. FYI, found out from embassy here that to get permanent residence now, the retiring in 2 years, you have to prove that you are already retired. You know what? This is something that various consulates have different rules about. So if you want to get it before you retire, try try contacting another consulate and see what their requirements are, because I bet you'll find that it's not always like that. I don't stop at red traffic lights anymore. It's too expensive. That's funny. Jordan, any local immigration consultants that you would recommend for helping process paperwork for Canadians escaping to freedom-loving Mexico? Yes, yes. Um, I'm going to go find a video here on the channel, and then I'm going to post the link in this chat. And then in the description of this video, you're going to find his information. His name is Mario. Okay, where is it? Here it is. Okay, just need to copy that. Alrighty. Posting that in the chat now. Good idea. I tried San Francisco and San Jose. Yeah, try some others. And thank you for being a channel member, by the way. I really appreciate that. Have you ever collaborated with any Vegas YouTubers, Pompsy? I did with Say Hi to Matthew. Now he doesn't. He lives in Canada, not Vegas, but his channel is almost all about Vegas. So that was 2 or 3 years ago, and that was the video on the channel, the best free things to do in Las Vegas. And since then, well, on this trip I just got back from, I did a collab with Jacob's Life in Vegas. Aria Films, thank you for the $9.99 super chat. I really appreciate that. Hey Jordan, do you have global entry or TSA pre-check? If so or not, what are your thoughts? One of our partners already applied for global entry and waiting to get approved. Thanks for doing these. Yes, so I have global entry, and it comes with TSA pre-check, so I have both of those. And yeah, so I mean, if you're thinking about getting TSA pre-check, you might as well get global entry, just because it's something like $10 more, and like it just makes coming back into the country so much easier. And I really enjoy having that. I like it. And something else I have is Clear. Now Clear is kind of something you get in addition to TSA pre-check, because at a lot of airports, TSA pre-check exists, and it helps you skip a lot of the line and gets you through security faster. But now that TSA pre-check is becoming so popular, sometimes the lines for TSA pre-check are really long as well. And if you have Clear, you get to go right to the front of the line. Now, Clear is kind of expensive, and if I was actually paying for it, I out of pocket, I don't think I would find it worth it. But like with my American Express card, I get $180 off of it each year, which makes it free. And then also because I have status with Delta Airlines, I get discounted clear. Excuse me. Because I have status with Delta Airlines, I get a discounted clear membership, which brings the price down to like 120. So basically, I get it for free with my American Express card plus $60 left over to add someone else onto my account. Jessica asks, "What's global entry and TSA PreCheck?" TSA PreCheck basically allows you to go through a separate line when you're traveling, when you're flying in the U.S. for security, and you don't have to take like your laptop out of your bag. You generally don't have to take your shoes off, and also you get to walk through a metal detector usually instead of that machine that I don't trust where you put your hands over your head and then it does a shoop shoop, and then basically detects anything that you have on your body. I don't like to go through those because I don't feel like they've been tested long enough to know if it's safe and for long-term use. So I prefer to go through the metal detector. And then global entry is basically just a expedited way to get past immigration when you come back into the United States. What kind of Amex? The platinum? Yeah, it's the platinum. But I also have the Amex Green Card, and that might come with $100 clear credit as well. I'm not sure though because I don't use it. I don't use that credit because I get the credit from the platinum. Global entry and TSA pre-check is worth every penny. Yeah, I agree. Um, like global entry, it was kind of a pain in the ass to apply for. Like I had to fill out a really long application, uh, and then I had to wait for conditional approval, and then I had to go to an airport to do an interview, which I was able to do when I was just flying into the country somewhere. And then they asked me some more questions there. Uh, so, but like after I have it, like I do find it to be well worth it. And like as for the cost, I think I have 4 or 5 different credit cards now that give me a global entry or TSA pre-check credit every 4 years, or every 5 years, and that's how long it's valid for. So basically, I only have to use one of those credits from one of those credit cards. So you might have a credit card as well that includes a global entry credit. Jim asked, you might have said this already, but did you get lucky in Vegas? Money wise, that is. Um, so at the beginning of this trip, I was having pretty bad luck. Like, for example, I was playing a lot of video poker and I recorded it every single time that I had 4 to the straight flush or 4 to the royal flush before drawing. And like, I had so many opportunities and I never hit it. And I kept missing my 4 of a kinds and all sorts of things like that. And then anytime I played slots, my money was just gone. So first half of the trip, I was having really bad luck, uh, and basically every session was a losing session. And then the last few days, I had a little bit better luck and earned back some of that money, but ended up down overall, which is like the expectation. That's par for the course in Vegas. This is probably my 10th losing trip in a row. Can we get a job if we are moving to escape Canada? I mean, yeah, sure. Just if you get the proper permits for that. But I'll tell you what, it's going to be easier to get a job if like you create your own, and you're you're probably going to earn a lot more money doing that than working as an employee. And plus, it's also going to be a heck of a lot easier to get get the permits to do that. So, like, what could that be? Let's say you're a massage therapist, or you have any skill that you can do in person while doing something like that. Uh, Helping people relocate, that's a very in demand thing. Anything in real estate is really in demand. I mean, I'm I'm making videos, but honestly, most people who try what I'm doing don't really make it financially. So, but there's a lot of options. Find something you like and figure out how you can make money from that. Jim asked, when are you posting the Vegas trip video? The first one will be tomorrow, and there's four coming, plus one collab on someone else's channel. So kind of four and a half videos. Hey Jordan, is Mexico part of the World Economic Forum? Um, so as for officially, I don't know the answer to that, but it seems like Mexico is doing things very different from what the World Economic Forum wants. So I would I would say in practice, no. Maria Films, thank you for the 4.99 super chat. Did you have to wait a long time to get a conditionally approved for global entry? Also, do we have do we have to have global entry to get clear? You do not have to have global entry to get clear. Anyone can get clear, I believe, or maybe it's only for U.S. citizens. I'm not sure. And for me to get conditionally approved for global entry, it I think it only took like 24 hours, but Maddie applied at pretty much the same time I did, and for her to get conditionally approved, it took 8 or 9 months. So that was kind of a crazy difference. James asks, "How are your stock market investments doing in this bear market?" I mean, not much has survived the fall, so my oil companies are doing well, but pretty much everything else is down. So there's a lot of good buys out there. Of this, there's a lot of things that I want to buy, and that's how I look at it. That's how I think uh, you need to look at it. You got to buy stocks the way you buy groceries. You buy more when there's sales. You buy less when it's full price. Candace asks, "I don't gamble, so why go to Vegas?" Uh, there's a lot of things to do in Vegas, even for those people who don't like gambling. I've met quite a few people who don't gamble or don't like gambling, but still enjoy going to Vegas. And um, I don't really like gambling either. But what I do like is drinking top shelf liquor for free. And I can do that by just playing slowly at low limits in the casinos there, at least at the higher end casinos, because the higher end casinos serve better liquor. Um, but I mean, there's shows there. There's a million cool things to do, and there's shows in the sense like Cirque du Soleil shows and other big production shows like that. But then there's also lots of free shows like the Bellagio fountains. If you like shopping, there's endless shopping to be done in Las Vegas. Walking into in any and every casino on the strip, there's just something that will make your jaw drop because they're so elaborate. So I think that can be cool to see as well. What are your favorite airlines and airports for traveling from Mexico to the U.S.? Um, I mean, probably like whichever airline has a direct flight. To be honest, but I try to fly only with airlines who are members of SkyTeam, the SkyTeam Alliance, because there's a lot of benefits to having airline status, and I want to keep my status. So that basically means that I'm almost always flying with Aeromexico or Delta. And I like Aeromexico because, for example, like when I was flying back from Vegas yesterday, I they were serving alcohol, and I asked them what kind of whiskey they have, and they had Johnny Walker Black Label, which is probably my favorite whiskey, and it ain't cheap. That stuff is not cheap. So I like that Aeromexico doesn't nickel and dime you. It sucks that you're never going to get a direct flight because every flight has a layover in Mexico City. So that can be annoying, but with my American Express card, I get access to the American Express lounge there, which is my favorite lounge that I've been to anywhere. So I actually enjoy my layovers in Mexico City. Besides that, I hate the Mexico City airport. Uh, but yeah, that lounge is awesome because I get there, I get a full meal. Like I had a caprese salad, which was a really, really good salad as a starter, and then a really nice, a tasty meal with great presentation as my main course. All free, bunch of comp free drinks. I also got a free massage while there. And then this guy came by and he's like, "Hey, would you like your shoes shined?" And I was like, "How much is it?" He's like, "It's included." So I got my shoes shined while I was there as well. But if it wasn't for that lounge, I would not like going through Mexico City every time. Miguel says Las Vegas is a good place to people watch. Kind of like Disneyland, but for grown-ups. There is a lot of people watching there. Sometimes you don't want to watch what happens, though. Like, I was in an Uber on this trip, and my Uber driver is this female about my age. And I wasn't really paying attention. All of a sudden, she goes, "Oh my God!" And I look up, and there's this guy who I assume is homeless with his pants down and everything hanging out. So, yeah. Yes, there's lots of people watching, but some things you just don't want to see. Gordon asks, "Can you recommend any apps or programs to learn Spanish?" Yeah, if you watch the if you watch enough of my videos, you'll end up seeing that I recommend Rocket Languages, and I think it's a really thorough course, and I think it's the best value of any course on the market. So I promote that, and because I like the course, I sign up as an affiliate. So if you want to check it out, and you care to help the channel out by going through my affiliate link, it doesn't cost you anything extra. That's tangerinespanish.com. I'm gonna just type this in the chat box here. So tangerinespanish.com, that will take you straight to my affiliate link, which will redirect you to Rocket Languages. But yeah, that's the one I recommend above all others. Jim asked, "Did you make it to Fremont Street this time?" I did not. Uh, I've only ever stayed on Fremont Street once, but now that Circa's there, and it seems like there's starting to be some more stuff happening up there. I need to go check it out. Where is the girlfriend? She is in Monterey for the weekend. Okay. I saw I got a text, and I'm going to end this stream, not right now, but after my video editor sends me the latest version of tomorrow's video, because I'll have to go work on that. But I got a text from him. It's not ready yet though. What do you like best about Querétaro that keeps you in the city? Well, not too long ago, I probably would have said the weather, because I enjoy living in a place that has basically perfect climate year round. However, now the thing I like best about this city is my girlfriend. Gordon says, "We are opening a restaurant in Mazatlan. You are free to come down anytime for a meal on us." Cool, thank you. Thanks for the invite. What's the restaurant? Like, what's the name, and what type of food are you serving? How come you didn't go to Monterey with mine? Because I was in Vegas. Patty asks, "So you can't get to Guadalajara without going to Mexico City from Canada? If you're flying Aeromexico, no. Maybe there's some others that have direct flights, but not with that airline." Hi, my boyfriend or best friend is afraid to even leave the resort in Mexico. What can you say to him? Honestly, I don't know if there's anything that I can say um, that's going to change that feeling. But if he starts watching some of my videos where I've traveled around Mexico, where I've gone to other places, like let's say you're going to, I don't know, Playa del Carmen, and watch the Playa del Carmen videos and look at the other things there are to do there. And maybe if he watches some of those videos, well, then maybe he'll become a little bit more open to it. Jim asked, "Jordan, you mentioned one time that you'd like to get into investments. Are you planning on taking a financial planning course?" Taking a course, no. I mean, I read like crazy on the topic, so I'm I'm pretty damn knowledgeable. I'm confident I could pass the Series 7 exam, and I've never studied for it. Like my that's the exam you have to pass to become a licensed financial advisor with FINRA, or well, like the most difficult exam that you have to pass. And my dad got one of the highest scores ever on that exam, and I know way more about this stuff than he does. So yeah, I read and absorb everything I can on the topic. Priority Focus Life, thank you for being a channel member. Resorts in Mexico often have day trips and tours available offsite. Going on some of those with a tour guide might make it feel more comfortable. Yeah, that's true too. I didn't think about that. By the way, if you're interested in Mexico videos, go check out her channel. So that homeless guy thing, that happened in Vegas. The Amex lounge I was talking about was in Mexico City. Have you ever been cheated or the victim of a crime in Mexico yet? Uh, a few times, but nothing serious. So, like my my biggest financial loss uh, when I've been the victim of a crime was at Mexico Customs at the Cancun airport. They charged me import duties on a computer that I was supposed to get for free according to their own laws, and that cost me like $70. So that was my biggest financial loss. Um, and then other times just like being shortchanged here or there. Never been robbed. Never had like a break in or things like blatantly stolen from me. I'm trying to think if I'm wrong, but I don't think so. But yeah, basically that time in the Cancun airport and things like being shortchanged or overcharged, minor things like that. Hey Trish, good to see you here, and thank you. It's good to be back. By the way, I haven't seen a video pop up from you in a while. Are you still making Mexico videos on YouTube or on Facebook? Diego asked, "What are your top three companies to invest for the next 5 years?" Hmm. So there's, I'll give you a few, but I'm going to put a couple qualifiers here, and that is, I don't really like giving tips because even if I'm right and someone follows one of my tips, well, number one, if they don't do the work themselves to like study the company, they're not going to know when to sell. And if the price of that stock goes down, they may not have the courage to hold on to that because they didn't know why they bought. So I'll give you some recommendations with the caveat, or like not recommendations of, but like things that I'm actually buying with the caveat that like if you buy them, like please research it. But one, over the next 5 years, heck, like this one, I think is more so going to see the biggest moves over the next couple of years, and that's in the uranium market because the price of uranium has to go up. There's no other option, um, and it has to go up quickly. And with all the Japanese reactors restarting, with other countries that were shutting down their nuclear fleet, like Germany, putting that on hold, and um, the Sprott Physical Uranium Trust taking up a lot of the extra uranium off of the spot market, and that Japanese inventory turning into fuel. There's so many things. Like everything in the uranium space is saying the uranium price is going to go up, and that's also like the current price of uranium is below the total cost of production of uranium. So that's also another reason. So in the uranium space, I'd go with Cameco. It's a Canadian company, and just it's a probably the safest play in the uranium space. And I think that's going to be like an easy triple in the next couple of years. So above anything, I'm buying Cameco. Uh, next, the next two are longer term investments, but they're both very well run, and they're both very safe and really well diversified. And one is Altius Minerals, another Canadian company, and another is EMX Royalty, another Canadian company. I didn't realize these were all going to be Canadian companies, but yeah, they all are, and they're all in the resource space. Those would be my top three picks. If I had to add a fourth, maybe Sandstorm Gold. So I see young Dorito trying to spell them, and I see he spelled everyone wrong. So I'm going to spell them in the chat. Cameco, all BS. Okay. And dang it, this chat is giving me problems. Right. Trish asked, Miguel, how do you get my name highlighted? Did you add my name? I don't know how to do that. You know, Trish, I've never figured that out either. I've tried to add people and it's never highlighted it for me. So I don't know. Jorge asked, what about lithium? Um, I I don't know about lithium, uh, but what I do know about lithium is that it's one of the most abundant minerals on Earth. So if there's profitable lithium mines, well, then those are probably are going to become not profitable before long, because lithium, if I remember right by the periodic table, I believe it has the element number three, which means the third most abundant on Earth out of all the minerals. Is that what that means? Anyway, it's one of the most abundant. Uranium needs to be enriched, though. Yes, it needs to be enriched before it's turned into fuel, and that's actually one of the other reasons why that I'm so bullish on the price of uranium, because even after these uranium mines are built and the uranium mines that are care and maintenance are restarted, it takes like if the mine is already built, like, and that company decides that it wants to restart that mine because the prices are finally high enough to make it worthwhile, well then it's going to take 18 months to restart that mine, to have it fully restarted, and then it's going to take another year for that uranium that's produced from that mine to be enriched. So after the price goes up, you're looking at like another 2.5 years before you actually have additional fuel supply coming online for these nuclear reactors, which is a long time for the price to go up and up and up. 25th most abundant. Okay, interesting. I guess I need to learn more about that. Like I said, I don't know enough about lithium. Do you hold any ETFs for guaranteed income stream? Yeah, my favorite is probably VYMI. It's basically a collection of about 1,300 of the biggest international dividend paying companies. Are you into Mexican politics or do you ignore that topic? I ignore it as much as I can. Dr. Miko says, Tangerine Travels, do you trust 5G? I don't know. I noticed the day 5G was activated here where I live, and I had a headache for like the next 2 days. And I don't really get headaches. So that was weird. How much is a pack of smokes? If we're talking US dollars, it's like $2 or $2.50 here. Oh, you know what? Earlier when we were talking about lithium, I just remembered this. At least I think I just remembered this. Like periodic table element number 3, I believe, does that refer to the weight? Does that mean it's a really light element? I don't. It's. Can you tell it's been a long time since I've studied anything to do with science? Hey, two travelers in Mexico. Good to see you guys here. You guys are interested in Mexico videos? Go check them out. Yes, number 3 is based on weight. Okay, so maybe that's what I was remembering. Thank you, Jen. Yeah, please give it a like. You can do that on all my videos that you like. You'll notice that I never ask you in a video to like it. Except in lives when someone suggests it. What was your favorite fruit from Mexico? Mm, well, I love raspberries, and there's a lot of raspberries growing here. I love guanabana, or in English, the name of that is soursop. I love passion fruit as well. All of those. Two travelers in Mexico asked, have you noticed prices increasing in the last few months on food items in Querétaro? Yeah, I for a little while there, I didn't really notice prices increasing, but I've been paying more attention to it lately, and Yeah, I definitely have. Especially things that come in a box or like packaged. Maybe not as much on produce or things grown here, things you might buy at a local market. Pancho de la Verga said, do you feel more artistically free now that you have complete and sole control of Tangerine Travels? Yeah, there's definitely more freedom involved there. Do you get earthquakes there? Nope, not here in Querétaro. Jonathan asks, are the Mexicans welcoming to the people moving there? Indifferent or just welcoming? Uh, Here in Querétaro, I would say somewhere between, well, depending on the individual, somewhere between indifferent and welcoming. Um, a place like Oaxaca, somewhere between indifferent and very unwelcoming. So uh, I don't feel like I can answer that question for Mexico as a whole, and would have to go individual city by individual city. Are you just tagging him over and over? Did you figure out how to do the at someone, like highlight their name? Because if so, I would love to know how to do that. Derecho de piso, an issue for businesses there. Um, so if you're not familiar with what derecho de piso is, that's basically like when a cartel comes and says, "All right, you need to pay me this money for protection, otherwise I'm going to do something bad to you," and like says that to businesses, and that payment, that fee is the derecho de piso. And from the business owners I've talked to here, what those that have had those threats, though those aren't actually coming from cartel members, and they're people pretending to be with a cartel. Uh, so so there's that side of it, but also most of the people I know here in Querétaro who are very wealthy keep a pretty low profile. Like, they don't really talk about the businesses they own. Even if they're multi millionaire, a lot of them just drive a very basic car. Um, so there's that aspect of it too. So probably keeping a low profile for their own safety, if I had to guess. To answer your question, the atomic number as shown on the periodic table is the number of proteins found in the proteins protons found in the nucleus for every atom of that element. Okay, and does when something has more protons, does that generally mean it's heavier? I would imagine, which also would affect the weight of that particular element. Corey West with the $5 Canadian super chat. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. That bird in the background sounded like a lion. I didn't hear it. Cool dude Craig says, "What up? How's Alaska doing?" Uh, we were very happy to see each other when I came back. I'm gonna go get her. Alaska, come here. Hang out with us. I want to see you. Come here. Come here. Okay, we're gonna do a live stream, Alaska. Do you want to answer some questions? Oh, okay. All right, Alaska. What question's next? I can't see. Corey says, "Darn, didn't know how to use the super chat properly." Well, go ahead and ask your question if you had one, Corey, and I'll look out for it. Do you like steak, puppy? Yeah, she likes steak very much. Was Maya looking after Alaska for a couple days? Big baby. Can you ask it again, Corey? It's hard for me to scroll up and find it. Well, her favorite dog food is any food that isn't for dogs. She loves carrots and green beans and any kind of meat. Well, really anything that had a mother. So, eggs, cheese, meat. Okay, let's go. I'm going to let you down. Okay. Does she shed much? Oh, yeah. Yeah, she's a shedder. Jesus, mother, his mouse. I'm just saying it like it, it came from a living thing that had a mother. Jorge asked, "Why are huskies so popular in Querétaro?" The, they're popular for Mexicans everywhere I've been in Mexico. It's a very, very popular dog for Mexicans to have. Did Alaska ever have puppies? No, she didn't. She would have been a good mama, though. Alaska must be so hot there. Nah, she's not. How's Alaska's leg? You know, I wish it was doing better, but I mean, she still has a bit of a limp sometimes. Like right now, she's limping a bit, which happens after she does something stupid like jumps off the bed or something like that. But it's been a it's been a slower recovery process than I had hoped. That's for sure. Than I had hoped and had expected. It's been like two steps forward, one step back, and just doing that over and over and over. Do you have a swimming pool? No, almost nobody here has a swimming pool because it doesn't get hot enough to use a swimming pool. I mean, I guess maybe in the hottest months of a year, of the year, maybe you would use a swimming pool in the heat of the day. But then even in the hottest months of the year, it still gets down to 50 at night or something like that. So it's not like it's hot enough for the pool to stay at a decent temperature because it just cools off so much at night. Mm-hmm. Edward, thanks for being a channel member. When we got a Malamute years ago, they told us that they don't shed. Yeah, they were feeding you a line. What are you doing, Alaska? What were you playing with? Are you eating something? Woof. My Trish advisor says, oh, to put this content or this comment in context, her and Diego have babysat Alaska a number of times, so at their house, and she says we still have Alaska hair, and we have moved twice. We find it inside drawers and stuck to furniture. Yes, she shits. Do you anticipate buying real estate in Mexico? If so, where would you like to buy? Um, Probably eventually, but I want it to be a good price. And like here in Querétaro, so far, the options that I've seen are are selling at way too large of a multiple from like how much you could rent it for. So ideally, I would like to buy something that doesn't cost 25 years worth of rent. Because when it's priced that high, I'm just much better off renting. Alaska wants to talk, Jordan. Give her the mic. You're now wearing Alaska fur shirt. Yeah, you can't see it. I don't think I own any other shirt where Alaska fur sticks to it as much as this one. All right. Well, I think I'm going to end the live stream here. I have to go get some work done on tomorrow's video. But thank you all for joining. I appreciate it. And for anyone who sent super chats or is a channel member, an extra big thank you to you.